Hello YouTube and welcome to another game maker tutorial. Today I'll be doing a beginning to end game all in one recording, and I'll be teaching a lot of functions, kind of like how to use them, and just kind of nothing super advanced, maybe a little bit of intermediate stuff, but mostly is beginner. I'm gonna use a lot of easy stuff too. I'm not gonna be like writing my own collisions and movement. I'm gonna be using a lot of the built-in game maker stuff. It's a lot easier, and plus it can take a long time to build your own stuff. So anyways, first thing you're going to want to do, no matter what your game you're making or what programming you're using, is you always want to think about what you're going to make inside of your head, and also on paper. It helps to write down stuff on paper, especially if it's going to take months or weeks. You're going to forget things over time. So get everything planned inside your head. And well, first of all, we're going to start by making a few sprites, and I'm going to be using a sprite to make the sprites in, just because I like the functionality over this compared to Game Maker, and also over GIMP, because GIMP is more of a large image editor. It doesn't really work all that great with like sprites as to where this does. So for the game, I'm going to be using kind of like little stars, I guess. And to make them, I'm going to change that to that. Yeah, get the red. There we go. Okay, so we're going to make a circle, and we're going to cut off all the other edges, like so. Alright, and slap this one in the bottom right. Copy and paste, and rotate. And just do that for all the sides. Okay, so now that we got all the sides in, let's go ahead and fill it. Oh, we got to get rid of the box. Okay. And, yep, that's what I wanted right there. So, let's go ahead and save it. Sprite star red. And .png. And there we go. So now we got our first star image. So we're going to repeat that for a few more of them, because I want a 48 and also a 32 star. So let's go ahead and let's make this one blue. Alright, so now we have all of our stars. .png. So that'll work. Set that aside for now. Come back to our project and then add all of our stars into the game. So sprite star. Actually, I'll start with red. And how I'm going to do this is, not what I meant to do. I have to load sprite first. The folder. Yeah, we want red. Okay, so how I'm going to do this is I'm going to resize the canvas and add on 10 pixels to both the width and the height. So, and then I'm going to make it glow a little bit. And then I'm going to blur it. Not the color, just the transparency and large. You know what? See what medium looks like. Yeah, I like medium better. Alright, so now we kind of have like a little star. It has like its effect, and it didn't even take that long to make. So, awesome. Center it out when you're done, and then repeat that for each of the stars. Okay. So now we got all of our stars. Now all I gotta do is start creating our objects. Actually, let's go ahead and create the bomb. And I don't really know how I want to do this, but let's go ahead and make it 64. Okay. And let's do the ellipse again. I'm going to make it with the black line though. Sprite bomb. Load. Okay, let's grab that. I'm going to try this glow effect, except I'm going to see what it looks like on the inside. Alright, I know what I'm going to do. First off, I've got to make this a larger canvas though. So once again, just add on 10 pixels. Let's add a kind of like a neonish blue, I guess, on the inside. Okay, and the outside. I'm kind of curious what will happen if I make it not glow, blur. No, color just make it all messy. Kind of makes it look more luminescent. I like that. Alright, yep, that's good. And then center it out. I want to see what I'm going to set all the masks on this to a precise automatic, and then I'm going to turn up the tolerance a little bit until I get the shape I like on it. Yeah, I like that. And alright, I'll do that for all of them. So precise, I like that shape, that's fine. Precise. Yeah, that's good. Okay. And now what we got to do is actually add them into the game and give them some movement, and we got to come up with our score. So you know what? Let's make object game first, which is going to be our what would be persistent, although we're only be using one room, so it doesn't really matter all that much. Let's make sure everything that gets like drawn from this gets put on top, like the GUI. Not really a GUI, but just some small text that's going to be kind of like the GUI. No spray. So let's set up a global variable, and I'm going to use score. And I replace the V for a G when I use global variable, so I know that's a global, just to kind of keep a little bit of organization. So equals 0 to start out with. You know what? Just kind of put that in the same line so it doesn't take up more lines. Still have to have that end line right there though. So at least I believe you do. Either way, this works just fine. Okay, so now we got our score variable, but we need to actually make it so we can increase the score. So object star red, and then let's go and make, let's get this right, and let's go ahead and make some movement. Alright, so we want their direction to be randomized. So direction and not what I meant to do. Direction equals random, and we're going to put inside that 360 so that it just randomizes from a full 360 which way it's going to turn. Okay, just thinking. Let's go ahead, go over here. That's what I remember I was going to do. So I'm going to create the room and make sure to put the object game in first, so it stays the first thing that's put inside the game always. So room game. We're going to change this to 60 frames, and the room size is just fine. Take object game here, put it right there. And then I'm also going to put at the very beginning of the persistent object that we'd always put inside the first room, randomize, so that the seed is always different. So every time you play it, it's different. So now we got object game, object star red. So we randomize the direction. So now we need to do a motion set, and we're going to say direction. So this will take the direction we just randomized, and then we're going to set the speed to random range. And what this will do is it will kind of come up with a number between the numbers we're about to set. So for this red one, we're going to say between 3 and 5. And this will return like a decimal value, so it'll be like, it could be like 3 point something or 4 point something. You get the picture. It could be anywhere in between there. I think it's only 2 decimal places though, so not like a really large decimal place. It's just like, yeah, just a few decimals. So there's that, the direction, the speed. And then we're going to make it so that when, you know what, let's do that and set the step event. So what we're going to do is if mouse check pressed, no, mouse button, I believe. Mouse button? What am I doing? Hitting all the wrong buttons here. One second, let me just type in mouse over here. Alright, it's mouse check. Check button. Okay. So mouse check button pressed, and then we're going to put mouse button left. And so first of all, we're making sure that it only checks upon being pressed, and we also want it to check for, and we put that and right there so it'll do like a double check on the if statement. So these both will have to be required to be true in order for this to happen. And we're going to say position meeting, and then we're going to say mouse X and mouse Y with self, and we want it to say self and not object star red, otherwise it would check for all object star red. We don't want that. Although technically it would work because that means it would be only destroying itself in the instance destroy event, but we're going to say self because that works. So we're going to want to award some points upon clicking. So we're going to use the global score equals plus equals 1, which will probably change that in the future because that's kind of small, especially with what I'm going to do. So there's our little global variable score. Instance destroy, of course, and I think that would work just fine. And then object game, we're going to say okay, alarm set 0 and let's just say room speed times by 1. Now what this is going to do is it's going to take our room speed, which is 60 for now, but this could be used in any of your games, and then you put in the 1 for 1 second. So every single second the alarm 0 is going to loop. Or it's not going to loop yet, but we're going to make it so that it loops. but it's just going to be setting to that. And then how to make an alarm loop is that at the end of the alarm, so we're going to have to make sure to put all the code above this alarm set again, and then say reset it to room speed times by 1 for 1 second. Alright. Which technicality, we don't even have to put the times 1, that's completely, but I'm going to leave it there anyways. Just in case if I want to change it quickly, I can just change the number to like 2 or something, and it would make it 2 seconds. But here we're going to say if I random, and this is just going to be like, it's just going to say to itself, it's going to choose like a random number, and if the number chosen is the number that you have it equal to here, then it will execute the next event, which we're going to say we want this to be a 25% chance for the red one. So we're going to put in 3, because 0 is a number, so that'll give us 4 numbers. 100 divided by 4 would give us 25%. So, and then we can open up our little brackets here. And so if that randomized number is equal to 1, or 0, not 1, we can then do instance create, and then we're going to put in at, doesn't really matter, so I'm just going to put 0, 0, and then object star red. Now the reason why it doesn't matter what we put it at is because it's going to randomize its own position inside the create event, which we're going to do in just a moment. So now we have a randomization on the spawn, but this event itself is going to happen every single second, no matter what, whether or not this int star gets actually created. So I don't know why that happens. Okay. Inside here, we're going to say x equals random range, and I'm also going to round it, so I want it to be a whole number. Random range, and we're going to say from 104, so that it's, because we're going to have a wall inside the game that's 32 pixels, and the largest image we have is 64 pixels big. So let's check the math real quick. 34 plus 64 equals, wait, did I do that right? I typed that in right? 32 plus 64. Alright, so yeah, that'd be 96. And then add on, let's just add on 4 pixels anyways. So I'll set it to 100 actually. So 100 to room width. Why am I typing this all in wrong? Fingers are going crazy. Okay, room width minus the number. Now we don't need to say like room width right here because it's automatically 0. So this is like the left side of the x value, which is always going to be 0. So we just add on the 100 to make sure that's inside the map. And over here we want to say the distance of our room and then take it to the left. So, and then we got to do this also for the y. So y equals round random range, and then we're going to say once again 100, and then this time it's going to be room height minus by 100. So okay, and that should set our placement randomly. Let's make sure that works. Should. We don't have any walls yet, so it's gonna go, but if we were to click on them, it should disappear too. Yep, okay, it works. But now we gotta add some walls. So let's do sprite wall sprite wall horizontal. And why I'm doing that is I'm going to take that neon blue right there, go 8 pixels, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Should I get, is that exactly the same on both sides? No, it seems like 1 pixel difference. There we go. Okay, so now we have our little wall. Okay. Okay, I'm not tripping. It's bright on both sides. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make this glow, and then blur it again. Oh no, wait, not blur it. Yeah, no, not blur it. Color almost looks a little bit off though. Try and lighten it up a little bit, see if that helps. Alright, I like that. And then we're going to go through and then, so duplicate that. Actually, you know what? I forgot to do one little thing. So I'm correct, the glowing effect doesn't come perfectly to the sides. No, it doesn't. Okay. So we're going to just take that out and then put this in so it perfectly collides with the sides. Okay. So now we have, that's better. Yeah, we fixed that. Duplicate, sprite, wall, vertical, and let's rotate. And then let's do that again. Well, not again, but we have to actually create a new one for this one. So sprite, wall, we're going to say top right. And why we're doing that one is, so let's try and get similar dimensions to what we had before. Zooming out to make sure that's right, and it is. So come across there. Sure that's right. Doesn't look like it. So I have it like a pixel off. Right here, right? Yeah, I do. But that doesn't matter because we're going to be filling it up there anyways. So take off all of that. Bucket fill. Okay, that's good. And then we're going to glow. And then we're going to go in and then fix it again. So there we go. So now we have our sprite wall top right. We're going to duplicate that and just rotate it. Okay. And now we have, actually that's bottom right. Did that wrong. Doesn't matter though. Sprite wall, and then we're going to say bottom left. Duplicate, sprite wall top left, and then we're going to rotate it again. And I'm naming it by the direction that the inside is facing. So sprite wall top right. Now we have all our walls. I'm going to quickly go through and fix their collision box though. Put on precise and kind of turn down the tolerance, or turn up the tolerance. Make it more of the actual wall and not the glow itself. So let's go through and do that in all of them. Just get them all open. Alright, so now we got all our walls done. So what we got to do is we actually got to create them into objects now. So object wall. And I did my horizontal and vertical backwards. So I'm going to fix that really quick because that'll annoy me. You can't have overlapping names, so I'm just going to add an extra R onto that, and then change it to vertical. There we go. Okay, so now let's get the horizontal and then set it to solid. We're going to do that for all of them, so I could just duplicate object, wall, vertical, and that one. And also our horizontal is going to be our parent, so on all of these we're going to set horizontal to be the parent. Top right, and that will be all of our wall pieces. Now what we got to do is put them inside of our game. So let's make it larger this way. Alright, so put on delete underlying and then change it to our walls. Just kind of move that inward so we don't hit it. So that way we can just quickly go up and down without having to worry about creating multiple objects on top of each other, which wouldn't be very pretty. Actually, you wouldn't even notice it really, but it would take up more memory. We don't want that. Hopefully I did the sizes right on these and they're not going to be like a pixel off or something like that. Make sure. Oh yeah, it collides quite nice. Alright. Okay, so it came out right. That's good. What we're going to do now is... You know what? I already deleted it though. Dang it. I had a nice looking background made. Let's go ahead and make another one then. Background... space. And... edit. Transform. 1024.768. Make it a black background, and then one second, I actually need to have some sprite makeup here. No, not wall. Thinking wrong. Okay, so sprite star 16. Edit 16 by 16. Okay, good. And I'm going to do a similar thing that I did inside Sprite to create our stars. And you know what? Let's make this a neon blue. And then we can go through and just... Okay. And you know what? I should have done an Sprite because I don't think you can rotate just a selection. No, you can't. Okay, come here, Sprite. New 16 by 16. Let's get that neon blue we had before. Okay. Ellipse tool. And then let's make the rest of them by rotating them again. You know what? Did I cut off a pixel? Looks like I did. Let's take this one, which actually I'm going to need a sound anyway, so I'll leave it there. Create a new sprite star 64. Paste it in and then go to colorize. Yeah. That works. And then grab the 16 star we made. Oh, that one's 32 though. Or, well, it was 32. No, these 2 stars will work just fine. And that's so not what I meant to happen. Use new size. Okay, get out of here. Okay, let's go ahead and copy that, and then come into here. We need to be able to see the whole thing at once. Okay, and then just kind of quickly place these stars in. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to grab the other star and do the same thing over again, just place them all over. Alright, so now that we got our background done, let's go, actually no, one more thing. Let's blur it. There we go. Now we got a cool little image. That way it doesn't kind of like, it isn't as powerful as the top images, like our actual objects. It's just kind of, it's a background. It's there. We know it's there, but it's not gonna distract us at all from the game. So now, actually, you know what? Before I run it, come on, stop. There we go. And then add this to collide with object horizontal, which everything should have horizontal as a parent. So horizontal should be all we need for the collision. And we're going to say move, bounce, not all, solid. And then we're going to say 0 for false. We don't want it to be advanced collisions. So they're working. Awesome. They move around. All that good stuff. Well, I got another small thing I want to add now. So let's go ahead and go into here. And let's say image angle plus equals 1. And what should happen now, I don't know how fast it will spin. They're only going to spin to the right, which will change in just a moment. Come on, spawn. Thank you. Actually, they're spinning to the left. What? Image angle plus. I thought that was clockwise. Was that backwards? You know, let's turn that up a little bit. And let's also go into here and say variable turn equals choose. Now we don't want this to be a random range because we only want to pick one or the other. So -3 or 3, or I like the other way around, so 3 or -3. And space in there. And then go to here and then put in variable turn. What should happen is they'll spin a little bit faster now, and they'll either be turning left or right. It shouldn't be just left now. Yep. And they bounce around. Should be able to click on them. And they should be giving us 1 score, but we don't draw it just yet to the game. So let's go ahead and let's make an image for that. Height, we're going to say 48. I have to take off that, change it to 256. That should work. And then let's put in a purple background. And let's grab, what happened? Purple, there we go. Grab that and then turn down the opacity to like 60. Actually, let's take full opacity first. Then let's come in and draw this. We're going to do 3 pixels all along each except for the top side. Okay, so now let's change it to 60. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this size kind of like take it as far as we possibly can. And then let's fix it up first a little bit before we add the second layer. And then we're just going to repeat that for the second layer. Or I'm going to use the third size up. Okay, now let's go through and make sure both of the lines are solid. All the way through. For a little extra effect, let's come into the corners here. Didn't mean to take off that much, just a few pixels, and then take in that color and that color. Go inwards one, and then take the black, go inwards one. Then once again. There we go. And now we have ourselves a little box for our GUI. And we're going to center it out and then take the Y back to 0 because we only want the X to be centered. Type in sprite UI score. Object UI score. And for the create event, we're going to, first of all, we're going to want this to be -50 because we don't want it above our object game, but we don't want it below our main objects inside the game. We don't want it also below the walls. So, and then we're going to say X equals room width divided by 2. So it goes right to the middle. And you know what? I will make the creation event for that inside of object game. Alright, so instance create object UI score. It doesn't matter where you put it, as long as the Y is set to 0, the X will take care of itself. And so there's our little score. So now what we want to actually do is create a font for it. So font main, and we're going to set it to 16. And we're going to actually draw it to the game now. So draw, set, color. Now we don't want to change color. We'll leave it black by default. But we're going to change the font to font main. We're going to say draw text. And we're going to put in, for the X, room width divided by 2, and for the Y, let's take the size of our GUI minus by 4, or the height, so 44. And we're taking the minus 4 because it's 7 on the border that goes around, and you divide that in half to kind of make it so it's more in the middle of the color itself. And then for the string, we're going to say in here, score inside the quotation marks, and then outside the quotation marks we're going to plus and then a string of our actual score, so g variable or gar score. And so now it should actually draw our score now, so I should be able to see it. And I forgot to do the, so minus half of it by 4, so that would be 24, so 20. Why is it off? Oh, I forgot to set the center. I don't see why it's that low either. Oh, see, I didn't set the vertical line either. But, and so it's drawing, and it sets our score. So let's just quickly change that to, so let me see if I could find that real quick. So V, might be it's at the draw. Just look it up in here. V align or something like that. Okay, where is it at? There we go. Draw set H align and then draw set V align, which we're going to do both of them. So draw set H align, FA center, draw set V align, FA center. And that should actually fix the text there. Also, what we're going to do for these was we're going to set its depth to 15. Which I don't think I need to change it there. Well, yeah, let's just change it there. 15. And then what we're going to do is we're going, so these work, but you know we're going to add a little bit more code before we duplicate them just yet. So that way all of our stars get the same exact code. For a little extra effect, what I thought would be cool is to do something like this. So, if I random, we're going to want this to be very large, so this is going to happen every step. So something like 200 equals 0. And we're going to say x1 equals x, and y1 equals y. And then we're going to say x equals random. We'll just take the creation code for that one. Okay, so now we got our x and y randoms again. Then we're going to say x2 equals x. And we want this to be before, we want an exact way that I'm writing it now, because you want to make sure that you get your x1 and y1 at before it jumps and then after it jumps. So y2 equals y. So what it's going to do is it's going to go somewhere randomly inside the room, and it's going to collect this data and put it into x1, y1, and x2 and y2. And we're going to say draw. And first of all, now that we're drawing, we have to say draw sprite extended. And then we're going to say sprite is going to equal sprite index, so ourself, and then image index at our x and y with one of our, just the regular scale. We don't want to change that. Rotation being image angle. And then the color, we're just going to set that to see white so it doesn't change our color at all. And then the alpha be 1. And then we're going to say draw line. We want that to be extended? Yes, because we want to set some width, not extended width. And then we're going to put an x1, y1, x2, and y2. And then for the width, we're going to say, let's try 15. And we actually got to set the color first too. So draw set color, and this is our red one, so we're going to set the color to be red, or sea red. And it will draw a red line with a thickness of 15 from where we jumped, from where we jumped to where we're jumping to. So let's see if that works correctly. Hello? This is taking a moment. Not set before reading it. Did I accidentally type in it wrong? Y2, X2. Oh, that's because you gotta initialize them. So X1 equals 0, X2 equals 0, Y1 equals 0, and Y2 equals 0. Also, the randomizer on the spawn here is a little low, so let's change that to 50%. And let's try this again. Oh, I forgot to do one little thing. But it's working. So, not exactly the way I wanted it to, though. So what we're going to say is, if variable fade is greater than 0, variable fade minus equals 0.05, end line. And we haven't set up variable fade just yet. We're going to set variable fade to start out as 0. And where variable fade is going to be coming from is when it jumps, it's going to set variable fade to 1. So variable fade equals 1. And we're going to set the opacity that we draw the line as. So draw set, and actually it's alpha. So alpha, we're going to say variable fade. Let's make sure we set the draw set alpha back to 0. I mean, not 0, 1. So nothing gets messed up. And now what should happen is that line should quickly disappear. Almost to kind of like just, yeah. And something has to be changed from C red because it made our score turn red. Yep, that's working great. So they're zipping around. I like it. It's cool. Okay. Let's see if I might have changed it in there. No, so it's coming from somewhere else, which probably means it's coming from right here. Draw set color back to C black. And so we changed the alpha, we changed the color, we set them back, so that's fine. Let's do the same thing in object game if we did. We normally would reset the H line and V line, but I'm going to do it anyways. But we don't need to because we're not setting any drawn text anywhere else. But so FA left and then FA top. And you want to do that kind of stuff to kind of like reset things. In most cases, you would set the font every single time you draw, so you wouldn't have to reset stuff like fonts. And you're always going to want to use like defined fonts for the quality change. Otherwise, it can come out ugly. So yeah, it didn't change to red now. So they're jumping around. It's working the way we want it. It's great. So what we're going to do now is we're going to, let's make sure we got everything. So it gives us a score when we click on it. It disappears. They jump. They rotate. They randomize their movement. Yep, let's go ahead and duplicate them. I think they're ready. So that way it just saves us time from having to write that code or copy and paste it over and over and over. So star blue. And then let's just go through and make sure we don't have to change any variables real quick. Don't think we got to change much. I know we do have to change one thing though. Set that from C red to C blue. And yeah, the sprite index works just fine because it will set it to itself. Which actually, before I do the last one, I meant to do something else. Let's do sprite star red tail. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into here, images, or animation, disappear 20, and then we're going to cut off some of the completely invisible ones just a little bit. And you know what? I don't want to do that. I want to cut off some of the brighter ones down to 15. So that way it doesn't look like a solid, yeah, it just kind of gives it more of a fade. Alright, then we're going to go through and do that for all of them. So sprite blue, or sprite star blue. And it's always good to name your resources something related to it, so that way it's very organized, it's easy to tell what it is, and you can quickly just look at it and know what you want. Okay. Sprite star green. Oh no. Yeah, I'll set it to fade. Disappear 20 down to 15 frames. Good. And we're going to add those in just a moment. Actually, we got to add it into the code. That's why I was saving it. So, instance create, or we're going to say at our x and y object, and this is the red star, so object star red fade, and I typed in something somewhere. Oh, it's because it's not an object. But yeah, we got to turn it into an object. Okay, so let's quickly make that into an object then. Object star red fade. Set it to star fade, and then we want it to say if image index is greater than 14, instance destroy. And we want to set the depth to just one below our one, so one more deeper, so 16. Yeah. And so, yep, that should be red now, so we're instance creating it. So we just got to add that on to blue, but we also got to add, so let's go and quickly make all of the things. So object star blue fade, and then do the image index test. If image index, and this is just reading which sub image it is and then saying if it's larger than 14, which there's 15 in total, technically 16 because 0 counts as 1, so there's 16. After it hits 14 to 15, or actually 15 or 16, because it's got to be greater than, it instance destroy itself. Which I'm not too worried about getting to the exact lax one, because it's almost completely invisible anyways, it doesn't really matter. Instance destroy, duplicate, set this one to green fade, instance destroy. And then add the creation into this one somewhere, doesn't really matter. In some cases it matters where you put things, but for this it doesn't really matter where you put it inside the step event. So x, y, object, star, fade, our object star green, no, blue fade. And let's go ahead, duplicate, object star green, set it to object star green, create the green fade. Oh, I didn't rename it yet. And then set this to see green. Okay, now what we got to do is go into these and change the randomize on the speed to a little bit higher, so something like 5 to 7. And for our last one, we're going to make it kind of speedy. So instead of it being, we're going to say 9 to 11. And also, we got to go into where we get clicked on. And we're going to set that one to 15 and set the blue one to 5. And then, yeah, let's go ahead and test it. Make sure it's all good. Okay, I remember what I gotta do now. I forgot to add in the spawns, and we gotta fix those fades real quick. On the instance create, what we're gonna want to do is we're gonna set a variable that deletes itself at the end, and then we're gonna say replace the v with an s for script. I like doing that, and then put instance or just inst, and then do that, and then we're gonna say sar inst dot image angle equals the image angle that this star or the main star is. And let's just go ahead and copy and paste that so we don't have to write that over and over. And then change it to blue. Green. And then we're also going to add in the spawns for the other ones. Let's make this one 20% and make this one 5%. And we're going to say blue, green. Now let's give it a quick test, and then we're going to add in the bombs, which will be our loss. That's looking a lot better. Yeah. It's psychedelic. Well, I am getting an idea here. Probably going to turn down the spawn on the green because it's a little low. I don't know. Might just turn up the score on it instead. Make it kind of like a special thing. There's one. Just flying. Okay, so what I am going to do... Well, I don't know, actually. Yeah, I'll just leave them alone. They're fine. Let's go ahead and add the bomb in. So we already got the sprite ready. So object bomb. And let's go ahead and set up some stuff for it. So variable turn equals choose 3 or -3. And we're going to just grab the creation code we used on these and the direction and the motion set. We're just going to grab all of it. Just grab all of it. And we're not going to make these guys teleport because that'd be kind of cheeky if it teleported right under your mouse. This way you can actually predict where they're coming from. And so variable turn motion set. So we got all the good stuff in there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to grab this and we're going to just quickly type in our little mouse thing. So if mouse check button pressed, mouse button left, and position meeting mouse X and mouse Y with self. What's going to happen is we're going to do show message we're going to say you clicked a bomb. You had, and then add a space and then do a plus, say string gar underscore score, and then another plus, and then add a space at the beginning of this. You had, and we'll say the number of our score, and then we'll put the actual word score before blowing up. And then we're going to show question, and we're actually going to have to put an if at the front of this. So if show question, we're going to say, do you wanna or want to play again? Question mark. And then if it is true, we're going to put right here game restart. So if they click yes, game restart. And on no, or the else statement, we're going to just say game end. Okay, so now we have our law. So it moves around. You click on it, you lose. We gotta set the depth. We gotta reset the depths for the E2. So 10. Let's make the green one, see that's the smallest right on top. And we want the bomb to stay at 0. Or actually, let's make that 1. And let's make all the wall. Actually, let's just leave the walls alone. They aren't gonna overlap anyways. Let's set the fade. So this one would be 11. This one would be 6. And let's see how it looks. Actually, you know what? I forgot to add the bombs to the spawn. And the objective here is to collect as much points as possible before clicking on a bomb. We're going to make it 10% also. So and eventually the bombs would accumulate to the point to where it would be impossible not to click on them. And what to do, and let's not do that, it'll be fine. I was going to make it so I had like a cap, but that won't matter. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how it goes. Come here, you. Well, that worked great. Image angle plus equals variable turn. We forgot to add that in. And why did I do that? So now it turns. We also want to make it so that what else was it? Oh, the collisions, yes. Collision with object while horizontal, and then move, bounce, solid, 0, and then that's good. Another thing is let's make it so that it takes a second before it's actually able to be clicked on. So let's say and variable click equals or is greater than 60. And what we're going to do here is if variable click is less than 100, variable click is going to plus equal 1, and variable click is going to equal 0 from the start. So that way, if it spawns right under your mouse, it won't make you lose immediately. You know, let's make it 2 seconds. Or, you know what, let's just say room speed times by 3, so 3 seconds actually. And we're going to have to turn this up then. So if it's less than, let's just set it to 1000. So, it doesn't matter. And that way, it's just going to keep adding on to click until it hits like a number cap. And when it does, well, before it does, it'll make it so that it's able to be clicked on. So by now, it should be already able to be clicked on, and then we'd lose. We'd grab so much points for score. And when we click on one of these, once they got really like a large number of them, it would say, if I click on it, I kept missing it, you clicked a bomb. You had 14 score before blowing up. So that worked perfectly. Would you want to play again, or do you want to play again? No. So game ended. Perfect. So, one last thing before I end this. Let's go ahead and make a sound for the game. Let's also go to this and add the sound folder. And let's do I like that one. So let's export that one. Sound, we're gonna say, we're just gonna call it pickup dot wave. And then let's put it in for that sound that we accidentally clicked on earlier. I clicked on accidentally. Sound pickup. And then we're going to pick the sound. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into everything here that we pick up on. And we're going to say play sound pitch, no? Audio, my bad. Audio play, or audio, is it pitch? Let me go to the audio part. So audio play sound. Where do I change the pitch at? I bet you it's audio set. No? Let me just type in pitch to the index then, or the search. Alright, so audio play, audio sound get, audio sound pitch. Okay, there we go. So audio sound pitch, and let's see how we use this real quick, because just to make sure. Right, so we set the audio play sound, and then we actually set the pitch, and it plays the sound with it. Okay. So let's say audio play sound, and we're going to set this to variable sar sound equals audio play sound, and our sound ID is going to be sound pickup. Priority, we're just going to set it to 0, and then loops to false. And for the audio pitch, we're going to say we're going to put in our sar sound, and then we're going to put our pitch at, so it's from anywhere. So 1's the default number. We want it to go only downwards. So we're going to put in random range, or not end line, from 1 to 7, no, not 7, 0.7. And we got to add that to all of them. So let's just grab it. It's so much easier. I put it up there. And now it should play the sound every time we click on a star. You know, one thing I'm also going to change is that bomb. I don't like how I did the collision on that. I'm going to change that to a precise ellipse. There we go, that's better. Oh yeah, the tolerance was just fine on it. So it's a solid circle that way. So yeah, it's working pretty good. Get a score for clicking on things. Bombs are spawning. And eventually they would just accumulate and accumulate and accumulate to where you just couldn't dodge them anymore. Okay, works great. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys learned a lot, and hope everything I showed you guys you actually understand. And I tried to explain what I was like going for and like how I was doing it, so that you guys could actually learn how to use it all. There's actually quite a bit of stuff covered, so a lot of, I guess it's in between beginner and intermediate. But thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit the like, and if you want to see other topics or topics I haven't covered yet, or more specific topics, or anything about this game too, just put it all in the comment section below. Peace out, guys.